So what we're going to do in this new series is we're going to take that same microservice, the code's identical, and containerize it using Docker. And then once we do that, we will deploy it using the simplest runtime for the environment, which does the scaling for you. It's based on requests, but you don't have to deploy any servers. It's another serverless type technology. And the replication for new units is no longer a VM, it's a Docker container. And so what we'll do in this series is first we're going to use a document database for microservice data storage. That's DynamoDB for AWS, CosmosDB for Azure, and Firestore. It's the same one we've used in the previous video, so I won't cover too much about it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to build a Docker container for that microservice. And once we've built the Docker container, we're going to push it into the cloud registry provider. And so if in Amazon, you've got Elastic Container Registry. For Azure, you got Azure Container Registry. And then for Google, you've got the Google Artifact Registry. And then what we're going to do is use that container that's in the appropriate repository for the cloud provider. And we're going to deploy that container using the simplest container runtimes offered by each provider. Now, these runtimes are relatively new. Their Kubernetes offering predates these by a number of years. So it's like they came back and said, okay, let's provide a simple way of running containers. It's more like spinning up a VM with an AMI. It's very similar. You say, okay, spin up a container, and here's the container image. And you don't have to do as much as you have to do with Kubernetes. Now, this is sort of a journey to Kubernetes. This is sort of a baby step. I think, if you're ever going to do a containerized application, you're going to end up with Kubernetes. But what this allows you to do is, get stuff in and out of the registry because it uses the same registry. And it allows you to do some simple prototyping and unit testings on your containers before you kind of move on to Kubernetes. My plan is to do another video on this exact same scenario done in Kubernetes. So, at that point, we'll have this Flask microservices run on VMs, run as serverless cloud functions, that type of thing, running as a container with these simple runtimes, and then running as a container with Kubernetes. First of all, let's talk about the container registry solutions. Now, there's a lot of information here, but the reality is these container services they're pretty, they work pretty much the same. And the reason for that is because Docker defined how a registry, the API and contract for how a registry works. And that was back in, 2012, 2013. And so they have to implement that. So you're not going to see a lot of functional differences because they're just implementing something that somebody else defined. So they didn't put their secret sauce on it, and for the most part. There are some differences, particularly around pricing and that sort of things, and how region replication. But again, that's around the margins. For the most part, ECR for AWS, ACR for Azure, and GAR all kind of work the same. App Runner, came out in 2021, and this allows you to just basically point to an ECR repository and have it run. Now, it will scale. It's not by CPU. It's by incoming requests. It's got TTL by default. It's very easy to set up, and it's, a little bit more expensive, I believe. But here's what we will be implementing in the AWS version of this. Is we're going to deploy a registry. That's the first thing we do. And then after we deploy the registry, we build the container into the registry. So this is the RC1 of the Flask app. And once we've done that, we run another build where we instantiate the App Runner instance. It pulls the container. And then we define the roles. Actually, we define two sets of roles. The Flask app needs to be able to have a role that can interact with the app container or the registry. And then it also needs a role to interact with DynamoDB. So pulls the container, has roles, then it runs, then we got HTTP endpoints, and we're good to go. So Azure Container Apps also very similar. It uses Kata, which is a Kubernetes thing for scaling. It does support a little bit more robust event scaling. Also suggests to me that maybe Azure Container Apps on the back end is actually Kubernetes since it's using Kubernetes scaling technologies. I don't know that for sure. That's just a guess. And so the diagram that we're going to build here is very similar. They're all very similar. We've got the container registry. Then we've got the, so we build that first. Then we build the Docker image, the Flask app RC1, push it in the registry. Then we create a container app, and that container app pulls the image, instantiates it, and interacts with the CosmosDB. So there's several roles that have to be set up for this to work, and we'll get to into the video. The last one is Google Cloud Run. This is the one that's been around the longest. It's also very similar. It scales to based on load or requests. It's also very similar. First step is we built the artifact repository. We will push in Flask app RC1 into it. Then we spin up a Cloud Runner service. It pulls the instance. And then the table has to be, it interacts with the table. Now the roles here are actually put on the project. What I'm going to do is I ran the Google one, so I'm going to run validate here. And that should give me the good to go endpoint. And so I should go to here, and I can go into Postman, hit send, and you can see that works. Then I can say get candidates. I think you can have a bunch of stuff because, yeah, this has been hanging around for a while. So that's the second endpoint. Then for candidate, I'm going to say John. I'll say homie1. And so that's the third one. And then finally the post, I'm going to say Mike 20 Cloud. And that's the fourth one. So those are the four endpoints. There'll be a follow-up to this video. In those projects, there are, I have set up GitHub Actions, and we're going to have a second project video series that's going to configure the GitHub Actions on all these.